books is in. The books are in. Yep. They in. They're here. ETM Hotel, Rennie, Shawn, welcome in peace. My name is Shawn. I thank everybody for tuning in to the Mossi Warrior Clan Science with Shawn, episode number 13. Like the show, share the show, tell a friend, tell a friend. I am streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Give me a moment here. I'm actually trying to get the link out. I am streaming live from both because I am I'm dealing with another claim. This time, this is influenced by somebody who sent me a video. Never really looking at any of the information that has been submitted to them or sent to them. They sent me a video. So we're going to take a look at the video and see what the video is talking about and see if we can deal with it in real time. I'm not going to hold everybody too long. I want to get it in, get it out, and then I want to end with a powerful sister who doing work in the community, trying to bring awareness and fight the spread of COVID-19, and doing it just like that. So without further ado, man, please, like the show, share the show. Trying to get this thing out as we speak. I see we got a couple people in the building. So I want to say peace, brother Dave. Dave got his books. Nunu, I see you in the chat. Peace. Somebody else in there, they just ain't said nothing. Peace to everybody, man. Just bear with me a second while I am distributing out this link, and then we're going to get into it. Yep, we're going to deal with it. Hold on one second. I see T'Challa trying to come in. What up, Rob? What up, number one troll? He said, I definitely love the kids' books, especially the multiple choice. Okay, multiple choices kids' book. Y'all need to, yeah. We're going to do some more, bro. Get some more on the way. Trust and peace. Peace, Michelle Dorsey. Peace, D. Mac. Zane, what's good with you? Yeah, man. I see the family in the building. What's good with everybody? How y'all doing this afternoon? I know some of y'all just getting off work. Yep. Some of y'all just getting off. Yeah, man. Do me a favor, man. Like the show, share the show. Also, if any of you guys or ladies are friends with, hold on, let me get the name. Katie Jackson. If any of y'all are friends with a lady named Katie Jackson, share the Facebook link or share the YouTube to Miss Katie. She's in dire need of this link. Send her the link. We need her on here. I am not going to apologize for anything that I am going to say. I'm going to deal with this in the most profound way, in a scholastic manner, with all due respect. Y'all understand why I'm saying this in just a second. I'm still sending this link out to the family. So give me a second and we're going to get it in. Exactly, no. Who is that? Right? So, all right. All right, man, let's get it cooking, cracking, whatever y'all be saying. Hold on 1 second. Let me get my drink. T'Challa, before I go in, man, you got anything you want to say to the people?
Yeah, peace to yourself, brother, and peace to those tuned in. Um, yeah, man. I mean, it's become one of my favorite shows because we all need to just sit down, slow things down. We ain't asking nobody to agree with us or to go out and scream out for everybody to get a vaccine and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? We just want our people to be educated and informed on everything, vaccines, diseases, etc. So I really appreciate you doing these shows and how you've been pumping them out because we need this constant voice in our ear on the other side. It's not a whole lot of good channels that we can tune in, that we're gonna tune into to get this info. So you kind of break it down, and I'm learning a lot. So I'm gonna sit back and get my note and pad out so I can take my notes.
All right, so I'm doing this on Facebook so it can be shared on Facebook. And right now there's a video circulating in people's inboxes. I don't know if any of you are aware of that, but there is a video that is surfacing, and we want to kind of deal with that. But before we deal with that, I need to go ahead and deal with something. Come on, y'all, like the show, share the show. Come on, like the show, like the show. There's people in here, man. We thick in here. Share the show. So let me share my screen. And I want y'all to walk with me through this process. Then we're going to deal with it. So I was messaged this morning. I got an inbox message this morning from a sister that I usually share information with because she be sending like weird stuff, and I be sending her videos to try to help her get on path. Mostly it be some of our work, whether we're in the Kofi Pasi research team or the Mossi Warrior Clan. But I be trying to like make sure that, we're providing her with the correct information that could help her dispel some of the things that she gets into. She shares a lot of memes and things of that nature, and it tends to go left for her. And I don't argue with her or anything like that. I never really had a much of a dialogue outside of that, the sharing of information. But today was kind of weird. I sent a video from last night, and she sent this video right here. Y'all see this? Listen before it gets removed. This is the video. She shares a video from a brother named Jeremy Ramsey, who I believe she is friends with, and they actually are having a conversation, and she must be sharing my information with him to see what he's saying. All right, so I respond, LOL. She responds, they are trying to turn us into white people and robots, and they have ways to detect if you have taken the vaccine or not. They lie quick as fuck. Katie, watch my videos. I'm telling them what to do. Like, just watch my videos. One, it don't alter the DNA. Because these is claims. Two, you can't change nobody. Three, they lied the whole video. Four, I've been teaching people about this and sharing the facts. Five, they have no science behind them. She responds, okay. All right. I respond after her, okay. Fact check her, shaking my head. She all kind of wrong, but you took her word without researching. What are we doing here? You seem to be an informant or for the other side. I personally took offense to that when she said, you seem to be an informant or for the other side. I respond, how? Because I asked you questions, I'm supposed to ask you to fact check them. I'm about the truth. You're going to listen to, I'm using her logic now. You're going to listen to white people, the good white people, huh? Y'all see that? And then she said, these are white people who told the world God trying to control the population. The people she talking about are anti-vaxxers, and they believe in it. She says, they are not going to tell you the truth. There are things that you can't fact check because they are not going to tell you the truth. I respond, these white people who said we was crazy for inoculations, that's my last comment that y'all couldn't see. She said, and then she responds to one of the messages I said above. When I said, you're going to listen to white people, then call me an informant. All right. She says, yes. I says, I know how to seek the truth, sister. That's the difference between you and me. And they lying, and I proved it in all my videos. My question again is, how do you know they are right? What evidence-based information do you have to prove they are right? Because they built the vaccine so quickly. They probably had it already. I said, no, that's not true. I said, I explained this in my videos, and you don't watch it. And then she says, okay. And then I says, I can keep going when I'm talking about all the claims. I says, why are you taking advice from dumb white people with no evidence? Well, I believe her. How? With what evidence? They ain't microchipping nothing. How you gonna believe a white woman after you said they gonna turn you white? Where's your critical thinking? My videos destroyed this, shaking my head. So I show her the post. Facebook has already tagged it false information, and then they tell you to see why, because they have two fact checking. Here's the problem with this. When you zoom in a little bit more, this video has over 33,000 views. And it's 10 people that's on my friends list that have viewed this particular video. All right. Now I said, here we go again. No, that's not true. Blah, 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 blah. Then she asked me, look, here she goes. She hit me with this. Are you a medical professional? Now somebody else is asking her to ask me this. How do I know that? Is because how she responds to what I'm saying. 1 minute she'll have a longer answer. The next minute it'll be a okay. Then I says, I know how to discern information. I have family that are specifically trained in this field. I have the sourced evidence and documentation that provides proof and clarity on all my videos, and I'm not talking out my behind. Have you checked these ladies' credentials? They say they are something, but have you verified them? You see the issue here. You're questioning me, but won't question the ignorance. A damn shame. She responds, this is what he said. The thumbs up was a mistake. So she probably thumbed him up, and then she went and sent my message back to whoever she talking to. So Sister Katie, whoever you're conversing with, you can bring them to the light. They can deal with me on a scholastic level, and we can have a conversation regarding the whole coronavirus vaccine and anything else that they would like to discuss. But as you can see, it says this person is unavailable on Messenger because at that point, she then blocked me. Mind you, for the last 2 years, I've been sending her information and that she's been thumbing up, liking, watching, and all of that. All right. All right. So here go this post. You need to watch this. It doesn't take long, but it's extremely alarming. By the way, ignore Facebook's attempt to block it. No surprise that we are trying to have the truth. All right.
Have with us an incredibly brave, amazing doctor. And I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, please. And thank you so much for doing this.
Okay, my name is Dr. Christiane Northrup. I'm a board certified.
I'm going to slow it down. The reason that we're doing this is because we're all here to learn. We need to understand what's going on with this particular lady here. All right. She says her name is Dr. something. So let's find out what her name is and let's see if we could actually find her.
So much for doing this.
Okay, my name is Dr. Christiane Northrup. I'm a board certified OBGYN physician.
She's an OBGYN certified physician. She says her name is Dr. something we can't catch, right? Because she's speaking real fast. She's speaking real fast.
Yourself, please, and thank you so much for doing this.
Okay, my name is Dr. Christian Northrup. I'm a board-certified OBGYN physician trained at Dartmouth Medical School.
Now, I'm going to give you her name. It's Christian Northrup. She's an obstetrician, all right? Now, Dartmouth Medical School, okay? Y'all hear me? Okay? Now, my phone is a smartphone. Algorithms are in play. They know what I'm dealing here and what I'm dealing with. All right? Now, why am I about to have a conversation with this lady? Let me put it in the chat. Let me give you her abouts so you know exactly who this lady is. Y'all. Here you go. There she go. Now, let me give you some more information on her because we need to know who we're dealing with. COVID-19. Putting a name in there. Rethinking COVID-19 with Dr. Christian Northrup. This was November 28th, but this video is from October when it came out. How to reclaim your medical freedom. All right. She got some stuff out here. She attacking COVID-19. And we're gonna get to her. She got this stuff printed on her website too. We're gonna deal with all of it. I'm putting the links in the chat, and then I'm gonna come back to it after we get done. It's a lesson right there. There y'all go. This it right here. But I'm trying to find this website that she's on. Dr. Christian also shares what is actually in the COVID-19 vaccine. Okay? We need to know. So we're going to let her cook, and then we're going to come back to her. All right? Wow. This is weird. I need to get y'all this too. This all this lady's saying right here. Here we go.
Tufts New England Medical Center. I'm a former clinical professor of OBGYN at the University of Vermont College of Medicine. I'm the author of 3 New York Times best-selling books, including Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom, The Wisdom of Menopause, and Goddesses Never Age. I've done 8 highly successful public television specials. I was on the Oprah Winfrey Show 10 different times, and all the numerous TV shows like Dr. Oz and Rachel Ray and NBC Nightly News and all of the rest of it, kind of straddling the world between holistic medicine and conventional OBGYN. And my entire career really has been about teaching women everything that can go right with their bodies and how to make that their experience.
This COVID vaccine, can you tell us what we do know about it and what you, from your experience, fear for the people that may take it?
Yes, there's never been a vaccine like this. It's an RNA vaccine. It is what's called a transinfection. It will fundamentally change people's DNA. And what I don't like about it, even more than the usual thing about the toxic metals that are in vaccines that make our bodies literally into an antenna with 5G, this one has the usual non-human DNA, like, monkeys, maybe fetal cells.
Time out. Y'all heard her. I didn't say that. She said it. So I want to be clear that y'all hear her, what she says. We got to hear her claims.
This one has the usual non-human DNA, like, monkeys, maybe fetal cells, pigs, whatever. And so it begins to make us what's called chimers, C-H-I-M-E-R, introducing non-human DNA into our bodies. What is worse, though, is that there is a patent and work that they've done at MIT to make a dye, and the dye is called luciferase. And under a light, you'd be able to see who was vaccinated, who wasn't. And the deal is to store your biometric information, because this vaccine will have nanoparticles, nanocrystalline particles that are actually little robots, and they like little antennas, and they will have the ability to take your biometric data, not only your vaccine record, but your breathing, your heart rate, your activities, sexual activities, drugs that you're taking, where you travel, all of that, and then take that data and store it in the cloud. What's even more concerning is that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation on March 26, 2020, applied for a patent number 060606, to take that biometric data, give you a barcode, and connect each of us to cryptocurrency, so that we would become literally slaves to the system. Like everything, it would be the end of privacy, the end of freedom, because who gets the data? Who uses the data? And what do they do with it? So this patent to connect the vaccinated to cryptocurrency, making all humans a commodity, is extremely concerning. And everyone should be concerned, given that this is a virus from which 99.9% of people recover. So I would ask, why do we need anything like this? Because it goes far beyond those pandemics of old, smallpox and so on. This is very different. The plan here is to vaccinate the entire world. And the narrative that we're being sold is things will not go back to normal until everyone is vaccinated.
All right. So y'all heard it from the lady. Okay. She made some wild, outlandish claims. But first things first, let's get this straight. After you receive the vaccination, you'll get this card. It'll have your first, last name, date of birth, your patient number, and your dosage used. This is a vaccine record card. Y'all remember those cards back in the day when you had to have them, when you had to take them to school? Well, your parents either had to have you take them to school, or they took them to school, and they provided this information to the school to let them know your shot records, right? Now, the COVID-19 has a specific shot record card for itself. Don't believe me? Let me go a little further. Here's another close-up, right? Please keep this record card, which includes medical information about the vaccine you have received. You see where it says Pfizer lot EK5730, expiration date 3/31/2021. Okay, because they have to go and get dose 2. All right. Another one, COVID-19 VAC 121520, expires 3/20/21. Y'all see that? It's telling them when it expires, when they need to come back. They giving them 3 months. I mean, they giving them X amount of time when they got to come back. All right, we cool on that. There you go again. Same card. Okay? So let's deal with the specifics. Now, we can come back to a lot of what she claimed. But as I always do, the links are in the description. Anything that I've showed, you're going to be able to have full access to. This one right here is dealing immediately with Bill Gates. Now, this is a fact checker, okay? Bill Gates is not secretly plotting microchips in a coronavirus vaccine. Misinformation and conspiracy theories are dangerous for everyone. Now, I'm dealing with it a little bit backwards. Here's the problem. She said that Bill Gates, they putting a chip into it so they can link it to cryptocurrency. I'm sorry. So they can link it to cryptocurrency and, make everything digital. That is a claim that has not been proven, but she's free. Y'all sharing these videos to people's inboxes. I'm not making this up. So if anybody want to defend what she's saying, I will provide the link and you can come on here and do your thing. But again, like this show, share this show. Let me get through this because we're going to get into the real lesson after the fact, and I'm going to end the Facebook, and we're going to deal with YouTube. So while the United States spend billions in in an all-out effort to develop a coronavirus vaccine. There's concern that when there finally is one, not enough people will take it to protect population as a whole. Even a vaccine months and perhaps years away, misinformation and conspiracy theories about vaccines for COVID-19 are swirling online, potentially driving people away from getting vaccinated when one or more become available. One of the wildest is a false story about a purported evil plan by Microsoft founder Bill Gates to use mass coronavirus vaccinations to implant microchips in billions of people to track their movements. But in this instance, it's for cryptocurrency. I can't find it. In a media call announcing $1.6 billion in funding for immunization in poor countries, Gates said the misinformation about his work on vaccines was so weird that he found it difficult to understand, and he categorically denied his involved in any sort of microchipping conspiracy. In a way that's so bizarre, you almost want to see it as something humorous, but it's really not a humorous thing, he said. It's almost hard to deny this stuff because it's so stupid or strange that even to repeat it gives it credibility. Belief in the conspiracy theory also is political. In a poll conducted May 20th and 21st by Yahoo YouGov, 44% of Republicans said they believe the microchip conspiracy theory, compared with 19% of the Democrats. More. All right. Now, fact check, buy syringes we can deal with all that, but no evidence required. We can deal with all that. Now, we can deal with Fauci and Bill Gates stuff earlier. We can deal with that too. Health officials worried that if too many Americans decline to get vaccinated, SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, the nation could find itself in a position where the disease continues to widely circulate despite a vaccine being available. That's a fact. This is why they're pushing to get everybody vaccinated, because they are trying to not have a host. If it has a host, it survives. If they get a certain percentage of the population vaccinated, it doesn't have a place to go. The goal is to create herd immunity, where enough people in the population have been infected and develop immunity to the virus that can no longer spread freely. Scientists estimate 60 to 70% of the population needs to be immune, establish such immunity, and stop the spread of COVID-19. Some argue that simply letting the virus run free will create sufficient herd immunity, but the United States is nowhere near that level. Even in New York, which experienced high rates of COVID-19 infection, only 20% of the people tested had antibodies against the virus, according to the testing done by the state of New York. I don't want to get into this anymore because this whole microchip thing is pseudo, right? It's already been dealt with way back in May. But she's saying to help create or do something with cryptocurrency. Now, let me say this too. All right. This whole vaccine thing is ridiculous. As African people, where everybody that's tuned in watching this, we've been getting inoculated. We're walking around today with vaccines in us. For people who are saying that you've never been vaccinated before, you better not ever went to a public school, because you couldn't go to a public school. Then they're going to turn around and tell you, well, we got a waiver. Get your mama on the phone. I bet your mama won't say you had a waiver. I bet you the public school system going to show you had a shot record. But this is ignorant. See, here go the whole origins of the microchip myth may lie right here. This is why I didn't want to get into this. This is crazy. And this sister got mad at me, sending me this and me challenging that she fact checked this lady. This lady is straight up OBGYN. She don't know nothing about vaccines. It's not even her field of study. And then she turned around and said she talking about holistic medicine. It's always the holistic pseudos that is out there trying to perpetrate a fraud. She stands something to gain because she want to sell y'all remedies that don't work. I'm gonna come back to the video, but she said something else in the video that was kind of crazy. And here's another article to go behind that, to go with the RFD microchips will not be injected in the COVID-19 vaccine. Altered videos by Bill Gates and Melinda Gates. It's crazy. They altering videos. Like I said, all of this is in the description, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I do want to go back to something that she said, and I want to kind of deal with it on a case by case. One of her other claims was crazy too, about how fast the vaccine was made. So let's debunking the myths about the COVID-19 vaccine. This is from the University of Alabama at Birmingham. All right. So here's the myth. The COVID-19 vaccine was rushed and will not be safe. The COVID-19 vaccine was rapidly developed for several reasons. Two of the vaccines, Pfizer and Moderna, that were shown to be effective and based on the novel messenger RNA or mRNA technology, and one is based on a recombinant adenovirus vaccine. Although this is the first time mRNA vaccine researchers have been working with mRNA vaccines for 10 years, this technology allows rapid synthesis of clinical grade vaccines. In fact, within a week after SARS-CoV-2 was made public, mRNA vaccines were being produced. So when Unc told y'all they already had a vaccine, they literally already had a vaccine back then. They were already testing back then. Once they got the genome, once they was able to map it, once they was able to go in there and deal with the molecular structure of it, they already had a vaccine back then. Over many years, vaccine studies, we have learned to develop more rapid ways of conducting clinical trials. Over the years of vaccine studies, we have learned to develop more rapid ways of conducting clinical trials. For instance, I'm not going to read this. I'm saying, for instance, from my perspective, when they began to develop vaccines, it took a long time to develop vaccines. You know, previously it was 10 years. Then it was 5 years. Then it became 2 years. And now it's more rapidly because of the mRNA technology. What allowed it to change from 10 to 5? Where was all the conspiracy theories when it changed from 10 to 5? Where was all the conspiracy theories when it changed from 5 to 2? Where was all the conspiracy? And now we got all the conspiracy theories since the Trump administration been in office, and now it's because it's 2 to a year. Not even really a whole year, but almost a whole year. The mRNA vaccine. Why is this a problem? How? You're not even paying attention to study. You don't even know what an mRNA is. So I'm not going to continue to beat the first myth. I'm going to go on to the next ones. The side effects of COVID-19 vaccine will be severe, more worse than having the virus. That's incorrect. We have a safer data for 40,000 individuals. The most common reactions were injection at the injection site. Now, look, this information is coming up out of the trials. Remember, we had the trials last week. We've been dealing with this for the last couple, we're on episode 13. So for the last 12 episodes, we've been dealing with the side effects and the vaccine severity and all of that regarding the information. So anyone new to this is just now watching it. I advise you to catch the previous shows that's on the Mossi Warrior Clan YouTube channel. Now, it came back to me what I let slip my mind. She said something about there's a 99% recovery rate. There's a 99% recovery rate, right? 99% COVID rate, recovery rate. She said that, right? Come on now. I need somebody to agree that y'all heard her say that. Somebody got to tell me that they heard her say that. Malcolm, send that to me in the inbox and I'll post it in here because it's not going to show up as a link where they can go and search it. She said that 99.9% have recovered. So 1.7 million dead people must be that 0.1%. There's almost 2 million dead people. And she's saying 99% of the people recover. Is she aware that after the people that she's claiming recovered, that there's long-term effects? You having people who are 18 years old who was affected 8 months ago falling out and still having trouble breathing, catching mild symptoms, headaches, and things of that nature. Reinfection is reoccurring. What are you talking about? We got 2 million dead people. Makes no freaking sense. And the U.S. death rate has increased. We had 322 deaths in the U.S. 18 confirmed cases. Yep, we got some recovery. We got some people recovering, but they're having lingering effects. So that killed that. Let's move on. The side effects from myth. Many people already have died from the COVID-19 vaccine trials. No patients have died from receiving any of the vaccines during the trials. One patient in the AstraZeneca trial died, but this person received a placebo. Y'all remember, we was on this 2 weeks ago. I told y'all somebody in the vaccine trial died, but it's more than just the AstraZeneca. The other people died of natural causes. The one person that died, well, there's more than one person that died now. There's one in each. All had contracted COVID-19 and died. All right, because we knew about this a while ago. This is updated information though. This 12/21. 12/21. Let's go. Myth. If I had COVID-19, I won't have to get the vaccine because I'm already immune. Most patients develop antibodies after they have COVID-19, but not all patients do. In other coronavirus infections, such as the common cold, we know that these antibodies last only 3 to 4 months before we are susceptible to infection again. The vaccine produces a strong immune response and lasts at least 4 months. The Center of Disease Control and Prevention recommends that the patients who recently had COVID-19 should wait 90 days before receiving the vaccine. They're saying at least 4 months on the distance of the virus is because that's how much data they have on the people who were in phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3 trials. They have at least 4 months of data. All right, another myth. The COVID-19 vaccine was developed as a way to control the general population. She said that through either microchip tracking or nano transducers or in your brains. But she also said it's going to make people be like antennas. This is false. Nanotechnology is the study of extremely small things and can be used across many fields of science. The vaccine do use nanotechnology through lipid nanoparticles that are the fatty molecule envelopes that help strands of mRNA, the genetic messenger for making DNA code into proteins, evade the body's biological gatekeepers and reach their target cell without being degraded. The claim that microchips and nanotransducers are in the vaccine stems from a fake video that suggests Bill Gates claimed to have added this technology to the vaccine through piecemeal pieces of video. This is false. All right, myth. COVID-19 was developed using fetal tissue. Neither Pfizer nor Moderna vaccine uses cell lines that originate in fetal tissue taken from the body of an aborted baby at any stage or design, development, or production. Also, she said that they were using monkeys and all of that bull crap. I might be allergic to the vaccine, but I won't know until I get it. The CDC released guidance for those who have allergic reactions. We're well aware that they're telling people who may have allergic reactions to wait. They're doing testing and trial and all of that stuff on allergic reactions right now. Even with the data that they actually have, they're doing further studies on that. All right, so y'all need to wait. All right, now. A vaccine makes you more vulnerable to illness. This is false. Receiving the vaccine does not make you more susceptible to COVID-19 or other illnesses. The timing of the vaccine is suspicious in our political culture. Operation Warp Speed is incredibly fast in terms of approving vaccines, but this does not mean that the process was not safe. These vaccines have been approved in both the United Kingdom, Canada, which are not a part of our political culture. They have also to speak about the speed or the timing. The timing is some people wish that they had it sooner, because some people almost lost their lives. Other people did lose their lives. So there's a gang of people that would rather have this vaccine than lose their family members. All right. There have not been enough tests involving people with underlying conditions. Patients who are immunocompromised were not included in the initial studies, but we know the patients with underlying conditions are at high risk of severe COVID-19 disease. The CDC recommends that these individuals may still receive the COVID-19 vaccine unless there is a contradiction, such as an allergy to prior vaccines. Now, the last one is vaccines cause autism. This is false. Multiple studies have shown that vaccines are incredibly safe and effective in children. Vaccines save lives and prevent both morbidity and mortality from many illnesses. The CDC posted clear to review concerns for parents at the CDC. All right, so this is linked source. We deal with some of this stuff, and I want to go back to the video. And then before I go back to the video, I do want to thank everybody who tuned in on Facebook. Appreciate everybody. We're going to switch over to straight to our YouTube page, and we're going to finish up with Science with Shawn. But we will review this video, break it down a little bit more, be a little bit more specific. We'll get into the science. I do got some other brothers that have joined me, and I'm going to let them go in just a minute. Just bear with me 1 second. Let me see. Somebody was saying something. Exactly. Nano was just a term for measurement. Yep. Here we go. Yep. Terry on it. So yeah, Terry, join us on the YouTube, Mossi Warrior Clan YouTube channel. Everybody on Facebook, share the video, get it out there. And tell Katie I said what up. She started this. All right, so let's get back to the video. Since it's only 4 minutes.
Have with us.
Since it's only 4 minutes, we're gonna let it play again. We'll play it all the way through. Anybody on the panel got questions, we'll stop it. We'll deal with it scholastically. And if we do stop it, make sure you're prepared to kind of pull something up. If you want to fact check it, or we want to try to look into it and see if we can get some more out of it. Okay, I see you. I see you. Truth Ministries in the building. Let me get this from Malcolm. Let me get this from Malcolm, and let's deal with it. 140 years of mRNA research. Yep. Author of Medical Apartheid. Yep. All right, so we will deal with these things real quick. And there's Malcolm's first source. Of course, he loves NPR podcasts. And there's the second source that he was trying to get people to see. All right, people, y'all should have those. I'm gonna go ahead and play this video again. Hold on. My bad, y'all. I think it's the link. All right, here we go.
Have with us an incredibly brave, amazing doctor. And I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, please. And thank you so much for doing this.
Okay, my name is Dr. Christiane Northrup. I'm a board-certified OBGYN physician trained at Dartmouth Medical School, Tufts New England Medical Center. I'm a former clinical professor of OBGYN at the University of Vermont College of Medicine. I'm the author of 3 New York Times best-selling books, including Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom, The Wisdom of Menopause, and Goddesses Never Age. I've done 8 highly successful public television specials. I was on the Oprah Winfrey Show 10 different times, and all the numerous TV shows like Dr. Oz and Rachel Ray and NBC Nightly News, and all of the rest of it kind of straddling the world between holistic medicine and conventional OBGYN. And my entire career really has been about teaching women everything that can go right with their bodies and how to make that their experience.
This COVID vaccine, can you tell us what we do know about it and what you, from your experience, fear for the people that may take it?
Yes, there's never been a vaccine like this. It's an RNA vaccine. It is what's called trans-infection.
Malcolm, you on the panel?
Yeah, I'm here. How you doing, man?
Good, bro. Peace. Can you explain to people what trans-infection is?
Trans-infection.
This is what she said.
Yeah, I ain't too familiar with trans-infection. That's definitely not a term we use in that I've seen used in the medical world, but I'm looking at it on the dictionary.
Okay, so the Journal of Nature has an article. It's called Self-Amplifying RNA Vaccine for Infectious Disease. It's a Nature article. I didn't see trans-infection on here within this particular article.
Okay.
I did get self-amplifying RNA vaccine for infectious disease. And basically in the abstract is saying vaccinologists is shifting towards synthetic RNA platforms, which allow for rapid, scalable, and cell-free manufacturing for prophylactic and therapeutic vaccines. The simple development pipeline is based on vitro transcription of antigen encoding sequences of immunotherapies as synthetic RNA transcripts, which are then formulated for delivery. This approach may enable a quicker response to emerging disease outbreaks, as is evident from the swift pursuit of RNA vaccine candidates for global SARS-CoV-2 pandemic. Both conventional and self-amplifying RNAs have shown protective immunization in preclinical studies against multiple infectious diseases, including influenza, RSV, rabies, Ebola, and HIV-1. Self-amplifying RNAs have shown enhanced antigen expression at lower doses compared to conventional mRNA, suggesting this technology may improve immunization. This review will explore, the self-amplifying. So I'm gonna drop this on the people because that's as close as we're gonna get to the word that she used.
Yeah, if I had to break the word down, trans, I would say to transfer, and then infection would, I guess, be infection. So transferring infection from something else. I mean, yeah, she going bananas. And then I look it up, and I found a definition. It alludes to the mechanical. Let me see. The infection of one host with a bacterium taken from another, often using micro-injection in order to study the different roles of the host and infected species. Yeah, she going crazy. It's definitely not trans-infection.
Now, her next claim is going to be a little bit more. So I gave you the Journal of Nature, and I also gave you the Journal of New England in the chat for everybody. That's going to be pretty prevalent for you because it's going to deal with basically what the Journal of Nature had already said, but amplifying RNA vaccine development. Okay, so this specifically deals with what I just basically read, but it's going to give you the full case study and the research that comes behind it. Now, you may not know what any of this stuff is. You can slow it down and take your time, and there's nothing you want to rush through. But what we're dealing with is a lady who's making claims out here. So I'm gonna run it back, and I'm gonna let her get into her spiel again.
About teaching women everything that can go right with their bodies and how to make that their experience.
This COVID vaccine, can you tell us what we do know about it and what you, from your experience, fear for the people that may take it?
Yes, there's never been a vaccine like this. It's an RNA vaccine. It is what's called trans-infection. It will fundamentally change people's DNA. And what I don't like about it, even more than the usual thing about the toxic metals, that are in vaccines that make our bodies literally into an antenna with 5G. This one has the usual non-human DNA. Like,
all right, so does the messenger RNA vaccine have non-human DNA in it? Malcolm, you got to be working.
I'm sorry, man. My kids in the background making a lot of noise. What you say again? Does the messenger RNA have who now?
Yeah, does the mRNA vaccine have non-human DNA in it?
No.
Now, we did a show 2 shows ago about the ingredients that's in the mRNA vaccine, ladies and gentlemen.
Fact.
That deals specifically with this claim right here. So instead of us going backwards, we're going to go forward, and I'm going to let her build a little bit more. If anybody on the chat, Satip, Sutek, y'all in the building, do y'all got anything y'all want to say about what y'all heard this first minute and 41 seconds of this lady?
Nah, play it again. I think I missed it.
Okay, hold on.
Can you tell us what we do know about it and what you, from your experience, fear for the people that may take it?
yes, so there's never been a vaccine like this. It's an RNA vaccine. It is what's called a transinfection. It will fundamentally change people's DNA. And what I don't like about it, even more than the usual thing about the toxic metals that are in vaccines that make our bodies literally into an antenna with 5G, this one has the usual non-human DNA, like, monkeys, maybe fetal cells, pigs, whatever. And so it begins to make...
Whoa.
Yeah.
Did she say turning people into an antenna?
Yeah. You ain't high enough to not understand what she just said.
Yeah.
That's what she just said. It ain't that much. Hey, listen, ain't that much thrax in the world that could make you feel like you didn't just hear that.
With this 5G talk, 5G ain't got nothing to do with. Okay, keep going.
She said toxic metals and shit, but
Yeah,
like our bodies produce some of that shit that she's talking about naturally. Am I correct?
listen.
Like that shit in them other vaccines she's talking about, like for instance,
y'all see that?
What
Oh, to me.
How to understand this? Nah,
I don't see the troll. What she say?
she said I need to get high. Yeah, it's on the screen.
Oh no, I ain't looking. Nah, when I'm sharing, I can't see none of it.
Oh, okay. Let's say I need to get high to understand this.
All right, let's go. Here we go.
Make us what's called chimers, C-H-I-M-E. What I don't like about it, even more than the usual thing about the toxic metals that are in vaccines that make our bodies literally into an antenna with 5G, this one has the usual non-human DNA, like, monkeys, maybe fetal cells, pigs, whatever. And so it begins to make us what's called chimers, C-H-I-M-E-R, introducing non-human DNA into our bodies.
All right, so if you look up what a chimer, C-H-I-M-E-R, but this seems to have an A at the end. And it says in mythology, a chimera is a creature such as a hippogriff or a griffon formed from parts of different animals. Thus the name for these viruses, chimeric flavivirus, have created an attempt to make a novel live and nude vaccine, chimer. That's, if you look it up on Wiki, this is whatever this is, but it has an A on it at the end. As a new hybrid microorganism created by joining nucleic acid fragments from more than 2 or more micro. Yeah, it gets weird. They're saying this is a bioweapon. As a bioweapon, combining 2 pathogenic viruses, increasing lethality of a new virus. These are all claims. They're saying people attempted to combine the equine encephalitis and smallpox and Ebola virus in the late 80s. A combination of the smallpox and monkeypox virus has also been studied. She's just making up stuff. I can't seem to hog down what she's trying to imply here, because chimeric vaccine and overview. This is talking about Lyme disease. The successful development of polyvalent chimeric vaccines require systemic identification of protective epitopes from diverse OSPC sequences. I mean, nothing is agreeing with her scientifically. Nothing. There's no data on this. COVID-19, the coronavirus, as chimeric in this vaccine design. This is coming from a conspiracy theory website. They're saying that it's called dadcherry.org. It was created in July 28th this year by a lady named Haiti Cherry. An anti-COVID vaccine also turns out to be damning exposure of SARS-CoV-2 viruses being quite nasty, laboratory-made chimera. Yeah, so this is what she's saying. She's saying, or she's claiming, that somebody made SARS-CoV-2. That's what she's saying right here. So let me bag her up a little bit.
This one has the usual non-human DNA, like, monkeys, maybe fetal cells, pigs, whatever. And so it begins to make us what's called chimers, CHIMER, introducing non-human DNA into our bodies. What is worse, though, is that there is a patent and work that they've done at MIT to make a dye, and the dye is called luciferase.
Let's look that up. MIT luciferase. Oh, they even got Bill Gates attached to this. Storing medical information below the skin surface. Let's see here. None of this is saying luciferase. She doesn't have an understanding of nanotechnology. Okay. Invisible ink could reveal whether kids have been vaccinated. Let's see. This comes from Scientific America. It's just it's not a scientific journal. It's just a claim. It's saying MIT engineers have developed a way to store medical information under the skin using quantum dot dye that is delivered along with a vaccine by a microneedle patch. It's a patch. The dye, which is invisible to the naked eye, can be read later using specifically adapted smartphones. Okay. Like I said, Scientific America published this. This is not crazy news. This was 2018 when the article was published, 19. But of course, I have the dang on fact check. And again, this got something to do with Bill Gates, because she gonna get us to Bill Gates and Fauci. The fact check is in the chat right there. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna read a little bit. Post on social media claimed that Bill Gates allegedly wants to microchip people, while Dr. Fauci wants the public to carry vaccine certificates. As of 5/5/2020, multiple posts with this claim have over 30,000 shares. Almost. It's more than that now. The Reuters fact-check team previously debunked the claim that Bill Gates planned to launch microchip skin implants to fight coronavirus. The claim emerged after Reddit Q&A, in which Gates mentioned foreseeing the use of digital certificates to show who has been tested for COVID-19 or who has been recovered from the disease. Most of the Iterations of this claim misleadingly refer to quantum dot technology, which was founded by the Gates Foundation. Kevin McHugh, or one of the lead authors of quantum dot research paper, confirmed to Reuters this technology is not a microchip or human implantable capsule. Instead, it is similar to a tattoo, which would help provide up-to-date patient vaccine records for professionals in places lacking medical records. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation told Reuters via email that the reference to digital certificates relates to efforts to create an open source digital platform with the goal of expanding access to safe home-based testing. Reuters found no evidence of any statement given by Dr. Fauci, director of National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, regarding vaccination certificates. The viral post might stem from a CNN interview with Dr. Fauci said, the idea of Americans carrying certificates of immunity in the future is possible. He added that this might have some merit in certain circumstances. According to Dr. Fauci, these certificates would identify those who have tested positive for COVID-19 antibodies rather than a potential vaccine. He confirmed these are already being discussed by the White House Coronavirus Task Force and would be useful for vulnerable people and healthcare workers or health workers. While the U.S. government certainly appears to be considering certificates of immunity as a way of 5/4/2020, Reuters did not find evidence suggesting Fauci thought it compulsory that Americans would have to carry immunity certificates in the future. Now, remember earlier I showed you the vaccine cards of immunization. All right, now, so the verdict on that claim is false. Bill Gates foresees the use of digital certificates with health records, but did not say that these would be in the form of microchip implants. Dr. Fauci has accepted the possibility of Americans carrying certificates of immunity in the future, not vaccination certificates. This article was produced by Reuters Fact Checking. Now, if you use the Reuters Fact Checking, they have the actual. If you click on it, it's going to take you to certain spots. It's going to tell you timestamps. It's going to give you all of that. So they're going to give you all the evidence there, and it's it's broke down. So let's see what else he say.
And under a light, you'd be able to see who was vaccinated, who wasn't. And the deal is to store your biometric information, because this vaccine will have nanoparticles, nanocrystalline particles that are actually little robots, and they like little antennas, and they will have the
little robots and little antennas,
the ability to take your biometric data, not only your vaccine record, but your breathing, your heart rate, your activities, sexual activities, drugs that you're taking, where you travel, all of that, and then take that data and store it in the cloud. What's even more concerning,
they're going to take your data and store it in the cloud,
is that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation on March 26, 2020, applied for a patent number 060606.
All right, let's look up that patent number. Patent 060606. This says the patent search tool allows you not only to search the PCT database of about 2 million international applications. This has something to do with cryptocurrency. Patent application 060606 does not mention inserting microchips. Oh, y'all thought I wasn't gonna find that? Y'all thought I wasn't gonna find that?
You went to the mark of the beast, did 060606.
Yeah. I thought I wasn't gonna find that. There you go. Boom. It's in the chat. It's in the chat. There you go. Right there. Fact check. Boom. On the spot. Patient application 060606 does not mention inserting microchips into the body. What was the claim? Microsoft and Bill Gates have filed a patent number 060606 for a microchip which is inserted into the body and which rewards activity with cryptocurrency. Ain't that what she just said?
Hey.
All right, now our verdict. It is true that Microsoft has a patent application with the number 060606 in it for a system which rewards physical activity with cryptocurrency, but it does not reference injectable microchips. We've seen a post online claiming that Gates and Microsoft have a patent on 060606 for a microchip that would be inserted into people's bodies and would monitor their activity in return for cryptocurrency. There is a genuine patent Microsoft applied for in 2019 with that number. The application does not mention technology allowing people's activity to be monitored in exchange for cryptocurrency, but there is no mention of an implanted chips. The patent application has not yet been granted. I'm gonna say it again, has not yet been granted. Specifically, the application is for a system whereby tasks are given to users, which on participation or completion can be rewarded with cryptocurrencies. Information is collected from a sensor coupled with a potentially within the user's device to determine whether those tasks have been completed. So that it's, oh my goodness. The patent application describes that user devices are potentially being personal computers, servers, cell phones, tablets, laptops, smart devices, smart watches, smart televisions. It may also be a piece of a wearable tech. The sensor is described as either a device in itself or built into the user's device. On June 1, they corrected it. In a previous version of the post, we referred to patent application 060606 as a patent. It has not yet been granted. So we have updated our article to reflect that. So we read the article and it's been reflected that we got the evidence. This is the updated information. And they told us at the bottom that it's updated. So let's go back in here a lie again or pseudo this up.
Concerning is that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation on March 26, 2020, applied for a patent number 060606, to take that biometric data, give you a barcode and connect each of us to cryptocurrency so that we would become literally slaves to the system. Like everything, it would be the end of privacy, the end of freedom, because who gets the data? Who uses the data? And what do they do with it? So this patent to connect the vaccinated to cryptocurrency, making all humans a commodity, is extremely concerning. And everyone should be concerned, given that this is a virus for which 99.9% of people recover. So I would ask, why do we need anything like this? Because it goes far beyond those pandemics of old, smallpox and so on. The plan here is to vaccinate.
What was she linking cryptocurrency to?
A chip that's supposed to be inserted in you when you got the vaccination, and it monitors your daily activity. And they're going to be able to get all your information from you and store it into a cloud. And in exchange for that, they're going to give you cryptocurrency. So if you get the vaccine, you get a chip put in your skin and they monitor your stuff in the cloud, and then they're going to give you some cryptocurrency.
Using luciferase, some stuff they find in fireflies. They've been using it for cancer.
I'm going to just say this, when it comes to cryptocurrency and them wanting to do that, that goes against their business models, because I'm pretty sure like Pfizer's, for example, they have a stock. They don't deal with cryptocurrency.
Right.
Yeah, so like they're not that. By her saying that, and I know how the market works, that's pseudo right there.
Oh, by the way, I have the whole thing where she I got the source of where all this comes from. Well, actually, this is a good little link. It's Boom Live. They fact checked her on the spot. Every claim that she actually made, it's on the spot. And this was Zane asked, when was this video done? Zane, this video was done not too long ago, bro. Not too long ago. And look, we're gonna go. Okay, so we heard her. Now I'm about to pull this up on the screen, real time. I'm gonna share it in the chat because I know y'all.
So these ladies pseudo, because I came in late.
Man, pseudo ain't the bro. She said ants, bro. She said you getting an antenna, bro.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, I want to deal with that 99% recovery rate too.
Go ahead, because I'm gonna end this and then I'm gonna get into a more a better. or better picture than this.
Yeah, it's just real quick to remind people. I know for people that's coming in, peace to everybody that's continuing to join and everything, and Sutek and Satep and Ron, Brother Malcolm on the panel. So basically, what happens is we have discussions about anything microbiology or, you know what I'm saying, something along those lines, and we talk about things in phases as if it's like turning pages of a book. So when you're reading the book and you turn the page, that's it for that page. You went on to the next page. But you don't discredit and discard the first 3 chapters of the book when you get to chapter 4. Like you starting over and reading chapter 1 again. No, you have all of that's happened in them 3 chapters to tell you about what's getting ready to deal with in chapter 4 of the story. So although medically the consequences of those statements and that thinking pattern is much more severe, because people don't just get over diseases and get well and get better and recover. There are long-term lingering effects to the common cold and the various strains of the flu. There are long-term lingering effects to someone surviving a stroke. You know what I'm saying? Like serious complications where like there are lingering effects to things. So just because you recover from something, that doesn't necessarily mean that you back to 100% or back to where you were. Yeah, I just want to say that.
So now her sources, she don't have no. So here you go, right here. So here we go. Let's deal with it. All right, COVID-19 to alter DNA. 5 claims made by Christine Northrup. All right, the gynecologist Christine Northrup claims the COVID-19 vaccine is a pilot to collect biometric data by Bill Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation. All right, this was published on the 13th. See, she did this recently. So here it is. The most viral eye-opening video on the internet, the truth. She's also a part of that pandemic stuff. This vaccine will alter your DNA by Northrop. This incredibly qualified doctor tells us what is in the COVID vaccine and what its purpose is. Must watch. She's qualified, y'all. Now, in the interview, this world-renowned doctor and author discussed the COVID-19. Northrop has a qualification list longer than your arm. I don't know what that means. She ain't even creating vaccines. COVID-19 has a 99.9999% recovery rate. Why are they pushing for worldwide vaccinations? This is a must watch. All right. Share with at least 5 people. That's what the post says. And there's a timestamp of 2/24. Okay. Now, it says a 4-minute video clipping of the doctor falsely suggesting the COVID-19 vaccine will change the human DNA control all our movements in the viral social media video. Dr. Northrop and I don't even want to get into it. Y'all already know she talks about Oprah Winfrey, all this. So let's deal with it. She says, look, one of her claims is the RNA vaccine will alter human DNA. Second one, non-human DNA created human, what we just dealt with. The metals used in the vaccine will create antennas in the body. The vaccine contains nanoparticles and the biometric detectors, which got something to do with Bill Gates. Luciferase produced mass by MIT, helping keep a track of tab of people who've been vaccinated. However, Dr. Northrop did not provide any evidence to back her claims. Boom spoke to biotechnologists to understand and debunk these claims. All right, so they spoke to somebody to debunk. Now, they show the video again, and this is why I put it in the chat. So everybody got it. There's the video. Same video we've been watching. All right. Boom found the original 38-minute video on Facebook page called Activist Tool. It's no longer available. They removed it. So we need to find a video that's called Activist Tool. And I think that when I was searching online, that I seen something that says Activist Tool when I was trying to find it. And I just, I disregarded it because it just looked pseudo as heck. And it was like red and black when I was digging up certain sources. And I'm gonna see if I can just hit the back of my phone and try to get it and deal with it. But it's a 38-minute video, so it must be worse. You know what I'm saying? Must be worse if it's more than that. The internet is killing us these days. So anyway, the video no longer available. All right, fact check. Claim number 1, we already knew, false. Although mRNA vaccines have never been used in humans and several are under trial, the promising results of Pfizer's vaccine candidate shows that mRNA vaccines could help in fighting COVID-19. We ain't got to go too much further into that. These, Science with Sean's always tell you what's going on with the business. We're going to get to that. Next, the non-human DNA will create human chimers. Misleading. All right. Northrop further claims that that since the vaccines are using genetic material from other cells, the non-human DNA will create human chimers, wherein we will start exhibiting traits of other animals. Firstly, the term chimer, doctor explains, that is very pretty famous in mythology, which I said, so I ain't even really got to deal too much into that. We kind of covered that. Now, 3, the metals used in the vaccine will create antennas in the body, which will be detected by 5G technology. So, Satipara, yeah, we on you, bro. 5G technology. We know where you at. Now, 4, the vaccine contains nanoparticles that will act as biometric detectors, which are patented by Bill Gates now. We already dealt with that. False. We dealt with the 0606. So they did exactly what we just did in real time. This article did exactly what we just did in real time. Go point for point. All 5 of her claims, point for point. Now, this last one we didn't get into because we was listening. This is produced by MIT, so they're saying partly true because when we read it, it did say it was produced by MIT. It does have a dye ink to help decipher certain things. Now, they finna tell us what's wrong. The dye ink delivered through the microneedle patches along the vaccines can help in maintaining vaccination records through the use of infrared scanners. All right, so we knew that. We read that. That's what it said. And then
what they say about the crypto?
Huh?
What they say about the crypto?
Yeah, she's pseudo. You're right.
Oh,
the patent in question awards cryptocurrency points to people for carrying out physical activities in prescribed manner. Since it's linked to a device used by users with a tech, rather the users carrying out the activity, making them standard receiving benefits of cryptocurrency. That was all pseudo. She just claimed that, but they didn't go any further than that. And you know what I'm saying with that part. Now, here's the however on the last point. However, the technology was meant for the measles vaccine has still not been approved for use for delivering or searching for the COVID-19 vaccine. So that's why they gave it a partly, because they're trying to use it. And the thing even said it for places where they don't have medical records, like Samoa. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a place to store medical records where they can keep track of who had what vaccine. So when they have outbreaks and things of that nature, their defense mechanism is to vaccinate everybody because they don't know if they had it or not. So they're talking about third world with the technology. Now, the claim review, COVID-19 will alter the human DNA and microchips for collaborating biometric data of patients. Claimed by Dr. Northrop, fact check, false. So, yeah, they just basically, went point for point as we did and dealt with her claim. So really ain't nothing to stand on right there with them. Clap it up for them. But okay, now that we done dealt with all of that and I done gave all y'all the fact check and stuff, I'm gonna kind of top it off. Well, first, before we transition, Zane, I can't, you're gonna have to do it again. It's not gonna let you play that. You found a full video. Yeah, it ain't gonna let you post it in here. You're gonna have to send it to somebody via Facebook. Behold, a pale horse is pseudo. I don't know what you're trying to say, Liz. But this lady pseudo is it. All right. Just put the day how old the video is, Zane. Right, exactly. Yeah, you have pseudo healthcare workers. Absolutely. She already told you that she's trying to design or other stuff. But anyway, before we transition to dealing with this particular lady, this black lady you see on the screen, anybody got any questions or anything with that video or want to go back to it for whatever reason? Peace, Sister Lily. We just killing claims over here, sis. Some lady, man, perpetrating a fraud. Got me blocked on Facebook by a sister sharing a video who thought it was the truth. She said she believed it. And then we broke it down point for point, and there's all kind of issues. All right, so so let's deal with this, man. This is breaking news, man. Surgeon creates barrier-free COVID-19 testing services for Philadelphia's Black residents. This sister's name is Ala Stanford, MD, founder of Philadelphia's Black Doctors COVID-19 Consultorium. She talks with JAMA Medical News staff writer Mary Jaklovich about her work to establish COVID-19 testing sites for her city's Black residences. So let's applaud this lady and let's listen in a little bit. Let me kind of get ahead. Let's go.
Today.
Thank you for having me.
What alerted you to the fact that in some areas of Philadelphia, people were not only getting sick and dying from the coronavirus at very high rates, but were also having a particularly hard time getting tested?
So there were a couple of things that struck me. One was that many friends were calling saying, Ayla, can you write me a script? I really don't feel well. I'm trying to get tested for coronavirus, but when I show up, I keep getting turned away and told to stay at home. And these were African-American friends, friends of friends with health insurance. And I was, a bit perplexed about it. And several times I called the ER. I said, hey, this is Dr. Stanford. My patient, John Jones, is on his way in. He meets criteria. I need you to test him. And when I would call and then they showed up, they usually didn't have a problem. And then the ER would call me back and let me know what the assessment and plan was. But that kept happening. And I was like, well, I can't be the doctor for everyone in Philadelphia. So that was the first thing. The second one was, of course, we were all home, sheltering in place. And on the news, you kept seeing bodies, people dying, and graves being in New York, especially a lot of unmarked graves from all the people who died. And then every once in a while, they would show on the news pictures of the people who passed away. And many of them were healthcare workers. Some of them were police officers, crossing guards. And I just started to notice, wow, they all look Black. They all look Latino. And I definitely picked up that trend. And so I called local, state, federal folks to say, so what's happening? It's affecting African Americans more, but yet I don't see anything in place. How can I help? I'm a surgeon. I'm not operating. How can I get involved to help decrease the spread? And I got a lot of everyone's concerned. We share your thoughts, but there really was not anything in place. And what I found was that everyone was still focused on having traveled to China, being a nursing home resident, being a healthcare worker, and being over the age of 65 and with comorbid conditions. And if you didn't meet those criteria, you couldn't get tested.
How did you come to the mobile testing unit as a way to address this problem?
I basically went on the website, philadelphia.gov, and it put every zip code where the positivity rates were the highest. And then you could concurrently overlay and see where the testing locations were. There were no testing sites in the areas where the positivity rates were the highest. And it wasn't by accident that all the testing sites primarily were in affluent areas that were predominantly white. And the reduced number of testing were in all the poor neighborhoods, or not even poor, middle-class neighborhoods that were predominantly Black. So we couldn't just go to one because you had to go to all the zip codes throughout the city where the positivity rates were the greatest. So that's where the mobile unit came from. I mean, I have an office and I could have just said, hey, if you need a test, come to my office. But you really needed to go to where the people were. And I used the infrastructure of my private practice as a way for people to write in, send me an email through my portal, list their symptoms. And then in the beginning, we drove house to house for every person who pre-registered, and we tested them. We confirmed their information over the phone. They came out of their front door. We came out of the van and all of our PPE, and we tested them. We put the specimen on ice, and then we drove to the next neighborhood. The problem with that was we spent more time in the car than we did testing folks, and that wasn't a great use of time. And by the next location, with talking to my pastor, I said, we got to go to a place where people trust. And in the African-American community, that is largely the church. However, there were no church services because of the pandemic. And really, we needed a parking lot. We needed a place to park our van, out which we pulled our chairs, we pulled our tables, all of our testing kits. We basically built a triage unit or a small hospital in every parking lot that we went to. And we went to every hotspot where the zip code showed the positivity rates were the highest. And that's where we tested people. That's how we came up with that. I'm going to say that's how I came up with it, because in the beginning, there was no we. It was, I came up with the name, which was the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium. And I was intentional about that because it was Black patients or individuals that had the disproportionate rate, that couldn't get tested, that were more likely to be positive, and had more hospitalizations and more deaths. And I wanted the Black population to know that we, as Black doctors, Black healthcare professionals, are coming to your neighborhood to take care of you. And I hoped that just the name in and of itself would instill a certain level of trust. And so I was purposeful, and I didn't ask anyone because I know they would have said, oh, Ayla, that's a bit much. Remember, this is April. It's not October with all the things that have happened and now people being much more vocal. But I was very intentional about the name, and then basically got on a Zoom with all of my friends who were doctors who were mentors for medical students, nurses, and we had 30 people on the Zoom. And I said, listen, I got a van, I have testing kits, I have PPE because I'm a surgeon, and I've got a dozen people to test tomorrow who can do it. And that's how we started.
A dozen patients?
The first day, April 16th, we drove door to door and we tested 12 people, about 12. By the Saturday, April 18th, we tested 140 people in a church parking lot. And by the Monday, April 20th, we tested 400 people in a church parking lot. And it was cold and windy and rainy. And when I pulled up, there were cars lined up around the block. And we didn't even have enough testing kits. We had to turn people away. But I'll never forget, because out of the 400 people we tested, 100 were positive. So it was 25% positivity rate. And that's still our hottest zip code.
How was the reception from the healthcare community and from the community that you were trying to serve?
So from the institutionalized medical profession, meaning the health commissioner, meaning different hospitals, I think they thought we were just going to be here temporarily, that this was a great PR stunt, that people thought it was cool. So Good Morning America was showing up, and CBS Good Morning, and big deal, but that we were going to be here today, gone tomorrow. And so we got a lot of skepticism, people who didn't know who I was. And it was kind of like, but she's a surgeon. What is this public health component? And so I think initially they just kind of left us alone. We weren't bothering anybody. And then once we started testing, over 1,000 people a week, people started paying attention. There was one article in the Philadelphia Inquirer where someone said, well, it's not like she's the only one testing Black people, so big deal, something like that. And then the city council really pushed and said, listen, she's testing communities where you all are not going, you all being the hospital, the health department, because we went to a lot of neighborhoods that you wouldn't walk in at night if you weren't familiar. And we didn't have any trepidation because we knew that that's where the need was the greatest. And they wanted to know, well, how did I get testing kits? Well, I'm a private practice doc. I have an account with LabCorp and Quest like any other, but as a surgeon, you only were allocated 5 testing kits. You didn't get a lot. But all the primary care doctors' offices were closed. So I went to my friends and said, hey, you guys aren't testing anybody. Your offices are closed. Can I have your testing kits? And I drove around and I picked up the testing kits from my colleagues, and those were the ones I used. But what we brought that they didn't was a level of trust and empathy. We did not require you to have an appointment. We did not require you to have a referral from your doctor. We did not require a state-issued ID. You did not have to be over 65. You needed to have symptoms and have been exposed to someone who was positive or presumed positive, and someone who was direct contact with the public. So if you were a police officer, we tested you. If you were a postman delivering mail, grocery store, bagging groceries, we tested anyone that had jobs like that, because in my mind, that constituted high risk. And right now we've tested over 12,000 people since April, and I am the doctor for every one of them. It's kind of crazy. So I think that answered your question. And then the response from the community was just, it still gives me chills, you know, older folks like 90 years old, which I always hated to see waiting outside, but telling me how proud they were of me. Some people with no symptoms at all, but sat in a line in the car with their daughter or son because they had never seen a Black doctor and they wanted to see if we were real. Then we had folks that wanted to donate to us, and they would just, after their test, come back with a case of water that they got at Walmart. Or, you know, someone would come back with a box of pretzels to feed us. So it was, you know, it's still like that. The outpouring it refuels you.
What do you see as the root cause of these testing barriers?
The root cause of why the testing is not widely available is a myriad of things. So first, I'll focus on the institution itself, and then second, I'll focus on the individual. So for the hospitals, a lot of them did drive up because I believe they felt it was a layer of protection for the healthcare worker if a person was in their car. Because you didn't know folks, they were, you know, random, they may have been positive. And I believe that wearing your personal protective equipment and having someone in the car with their windows up until it was time to do the test limited the exposure to the healthcare worker. So I believe that was a big part. But what it did was, for a commuter city like Philadelphia, where the majority of the residents take the bus or train or subway, for someone to travel, again, because the testing sites were not in Black neighborhoods. So for you to travel to the suburbs or a predominantly white neighborhood by bus or train and then walk to the site only to be turned away was very disheartening, especially if you were symptomatic. And then there was just the component of the haves and the have-nots. I mean, it's not new. It's been around since forever. And when you don't have a note from your doctor or a referral, you get turned away. You don't have a scheduled appointment. And mind you, most of the appointments were during working hours, 9 to 5. They weren't nighttime hours. They were not weekend hours, which is when we test. You know, last night I got home about 9 o'clock after we finished testing, and we tested from 3 to 8 because people who work, which are African Americans, if you schedule your testing time, you know, at 10 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon, most of them can't get there. So we tailored what we were doing to truly service the community we were serving. And we knew that by talking to the people and seeing what the obstacles were for them. So we did it at night. The hospitals didn't do it at night. They required you to have an appointment. The referrals that was one of the biggest barriers of all, because you couldn't get an appointment with your doctor. You could barely get a telehealth appointment. And that was just one door closed after another, after another. So the other root of the problem is the healthcare system for African Americans has been untrustworthy. And I'm very purposeful with that choice of words, because what everyone says in the news and the narrative is that African Americans don't trust the healthcare system. And you see, when you do it that way, then you can easily say, oh, if they don't trust us, oh, well, that's on them. When you say the healthcare system has been untrustworthy to African Americans, it's different. It means as a healthcare institution, you have to assume the responsibility of the fact that the healthcare industry in general has been untrustworthy. And we know that from Dr. Sims, that was performing obstetrical procedures on slave women without anesthesia, without their consent, doing procedures over and over and over until he perfected the operation and then performed it on white women. That happened for years. And people don't talk about that much, but as a surgeon, that was painful for me to learn about. So there's that. And then, of course, you can go through Tuskegee, and everyone talks about that, but there's so much more than Tuskegee. And if you ask most African Americans about their experience with the healthcare system, they may not even be able to point to the historical perspective as I just laid out, but they might just know, I just don't trust the doctor. You only go when you're really, really sick and you think you might die. That's the only time you go. And that's because those words get passed down from generation to generation, and you don't always know the stories.
The consortium has received funding from a wide variety of sources, including the City of Philadelphia, private charities, and individuals. A GoFundMe page is about a third of the way toward a $1 million fundraising goal, with contributions from more than 4,000 donors. Have you been surprised by the financial support that this effort has received?
I wish I could tell you there was like this, I sat down over a week and I came up with this master plan, but it wasn't that at all. It was just, everyone was blowing up my phone. Ayla, I can't get tested. And I was just very simple. I talked to some of my friends at hospitals about what wasn't working for them and why they were turning people away. And then basically created a plan that was completely opposite of everything the hospital was doing. That's what it was. And I said, I need people, I need testing kits, and I need someone to run the test. I mean, for me, that was all it was. And so then as we started testing people, folks started saying, well, we want to donate. How can we donate to you? And I said, oh, I guess I never thought about that. You know, I just knew LabCorp was billing me for the test. And my brother, I said, we need a GoFundMe. Do you know how to do that? He set up the GoFundMe. I kid you not. That's how it happened.
Can you talk about what you've done to educate people about the virus and how they can keep themselves and their families safe?
Yes, absolutely. So in March, I want to say March 5th to be exact, I posted my first video on social media. And I posted that video because there were so many questions and so many myths out there about what coronavirus is. And again, I couldn't continue to be on the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I just started posting snippets about what is coronavirus and how you contract it, what we know. And I would do those a couple times a week. I did a lot of Facebook Live and Instagram Live with young folks, with some radio personalities. I had a spot on WHUR in Washington, D.C. once a week where I would do an update. And that's how I was doing a lot of the education initially. Then once we started testing, certainly on our website, we post things. And then we give an information sheet with every person we interact with. So we obtain their history. We ask them questions about the current symptoms, the current exposure, and then we give them a sheet about how to keep yourself quarantined so your results come back, how to isolate, and or if you find out you're positive, and contact numbers if you need. And then with working with the Philadelphia Department of Public Health, we now have a great contact tracing program. And the contact tracing is so critically important, not just to identify the folks you've been in contact with 48 hours prior to getting your positive result and afterwards, but it's also a safe place, a safe and clean place to quarantine or isolate when you find out you're positive, because in many African-American households, you have multi-generational folks.
When you started this more than 6 months ago, did you imagine that you would still be at it?
No, no, not at all. And I'm tired. I mean, I'm tired. I really am. And for me now to see the positivity rates going back up, you know, it almost feels like PTSD, because I remember what April and May felt like. I remember seeing sick people in line getting tested, and you'd call to tell them their results the next day or the day after, and they were inpatients in the hospital. So I just, you know, every morning I log in to see the results, and when you see red all over your screen, you know you're going to be calling people all day.
All right, so I'm not going to get too far into the rest of that bill, but this is La Stanford. She on Facebook, like she said, and let's see what she got going on right here.
We do so much more when we do it together.
Card.
Yeah. We're so much more effective. So thank you guys. Thank you.
The card I saw. Oh, she getting the vaccine.
Yes.
You got someone in the home who had a sticker on it, just like you do, and you couldn't control yourself. Why?
Because I knew that she must have felt what I felt, which was wanting to do it, but being afraid, but not letting the fear overtake the knowledge and the faith that we're moving on to better days. But I think we all feel it, and if you guys haven't gotten it yet, you will. But the other thing, quite honestly, about the sticker before it, there's a woman on here with an afro who looks like me. It's pink, which is my favorite color. And that spoke to me. But it was just because, even though I've never met her before, it was a mutual feeling.
All right, so let's go back to her page right here. There she go with all her people, and that's all she got. Up and down her page, yo. Up and down her page. Yep. She was on the news talking about it. Interviews, that's all she doing. She doing the same thing, you know, we've been doing. You know what I'm saying? But she just got, you know, active sometime this year. And she handling her business. And we appreciate her. So today was all about this sister and her journey.
Stanford, like Stanford. My bird, I'm registered. I'm not backing out. Once I commit, I'm committed. You just, I don't know, just emotion about everything. And, you know, so many people say to me over the past couple really this week primarily, when Dr. Stanford says it's okay for me to get it, I'll get it.
So I have one last question, the most important one. Do you consent to the COVID-19 vaccine?
Yes. I consent. I consent to the COVID-19 vaccine today. You ready? Now it's in. 3 weeks later, I'm back.
Hey, Shawn, let me ask you a question.
And it's funny because
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. You wish that was you in the place of her?
Yeah.
You do? You'll do all this?
Yeah, I'm doing it now with no vaccine.
Okay. I just wonder.
Yeah, I know she tired. She just joined the fight though. We've been doing it since like last year. You know what I mean? But she took it up on herself to, during her time early on this year to put up her fight. And she's been consistent. Every day she's talked about this freaking vaccine all November. Up and down, like she said, on her wall, trying to educate people. I don't see a day she missed. October, I don't see it. I'm going. We're probably gonna go all the way back into, like I said earlier in this pandemic, where people were not getting tested. You know what I'm saying? That some of the posts shortened up a little bit, but she was making it known. So she been putting in work. But she been putting in work. But yeah, I mean, sure, I ain't got no problem joining the fight. I know she making a huge sacrifice. She ain't, her and many other Black doctors, because it's our community that's the most ignorant behind it, and it affects us the most because of our ignorance, and we don't know the severity of it. Like getting tested and doing all of these things, man. This lady put in work. So yeah, I wanted to, you know what I'm saying? I did want to deal with that claim because it was just all out of whack. But I wasn't even gonna deal with that today. All of this was gonna be about highlighting this sister here, man. This whole Science with Shawn episode 13 was about Miss Stanford. It wasn't even supposed to be about the earlier part that we spent 30 minutes or however long we spent on that, dealing with that craziness that's been shared as of late October. Trying to discourage people from not wanting to know more or make a better informed decision about the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? So when you see people dying from it or fighting for their life and struggling and all of that, you get a different perspective about things. You know what I'm saying? And shoot, no matter what we do, we can't leave people like her out fighting and fending for it herself, and she didn't feel it. She right there in a home of old boy who made his claim. Don't, you know what I'm saying? That he wouldn't go get the vaccine. The old Morris brother there. So, we just got to keep doing our work, man, and help her out. She need help. She need help. Other people need help. I do see that she got something with Eve, the rapper Eve, the real Eve. They did an Instagram show in June together, and they aired the conversation of them two live, building on that. So, shout out to her. Like I said, some people are recognizing her, but her videos and her stuff on her Facebook wall should be, man, she should be getting, you know what I mean, like 100,000 views, or she be 30 or 40,000 views. She been on CNN. She been on some major news networks. So, yeah, I wish it was me. It's a greater cause, bro. You know what I mean? When history is written, what will it say about you? That's the way I look at it. So every opportunity we got, we gotta take full advantage of it. We're in the middle of a pandemic. people should remember who this lady is at all time, man, and I sacrifice. So,
Hey, Shawn, you gonna deal with the sister comment, bro?
who comment?
Oh, you can't see 'cause it's been up here for like 5 minutes. Sister Nusha.
Nunu, she ain't saying nothing. So why would we start trusting the healthcare industry when you're on your deathbed? You just asking questions. I mean, you ain't trusting the medical people. I mean, she gonna get the vaccine. She gonna get the vaccine, but it ain't for us to trust people. We ain't supposed to trust nobody. We supposed to trust the science. So I don't trust them people. You know what I mean? But as long as we know the science behind it, we can make an informed decision. You can't make a informed decision out of ignorance, because what you don't know may kill you. You know what I'm saying? So you need to know so that you can prevent from being killed based on your you'll see her getting the shot. She ain't listening to no pseudo. Ain't that right, Nunu? You ain't following no pseudo. And then, like, people always be like, you got the white people up on the channel. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting people that y'all should know in their face. In y'all face. People we should know. I can bring Hilda back up, but, I already put him up. So now we just seeing doctors doing work in their own communities. She ain't the only one. It's a doctor in Detroit doing it too. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, she's been instrumental going all the way back to when this thing kicked off. Like she said, she started posting stuff on her timeline. And the first thing you see from the COVID is March 5th from her. Fact versus fiction. Prevention and transmission of COVID-19. Do I need a mask? What are the risk groups and locations? Is it safe to travel? She only got 2,000 views on that. On her very first video. Yep, and then she went on a speaking spree. I like Stanford.
Hey, I think that's a cop out to talk about all you using white people. Like that's a 1970 argument at this point, and we need to like grow up and mature a little bit with our scholarship and our information, our thoughts, if we want to come with the quote unquote phenotype that we can see, measuring that against correct. Like first of all, you will possibly die. And you will possibly have long-term lingering effects if you catch it and come out the other end. It's very likely for you to have long-term complications. And it don't matter how much melanin you have in your skin. So to trust in white doctors and to dealing with white people in medicine, it's enough black people, as you was just showing, that deals with medicine too. In fact, like we talk about all the time, like it's like as if right now somebody right now that look like me and you ain't with a petri dish and a microscope, bro. Like stop it. You see what I'm saying? Like you ain't sent your niece or your daughter, somebody college fund you done help fund, or you ain't got people in your family. Somebody in your family knows somebody. If ain't nobody in your family dealing with the medical industry. And so what I'm saying is, how we pushing to become doctors and lawyers and pushing for MDs and nurses and all of this, but then we want to turn around and just demonize the whole system. I understand skepticism, and I understand that, people in this country and this country itself ain't always been kind and ain't kind to black people, period. I get it. But we can't do that overgeneralization and that cop-out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because what you think you know gonna definitely kill. Not what you don't know. It's what you think you know is gonna definitely kill you. Because what we know in the scientific fields is that what we think we understand, please, you run that experiment a couple more times and find out a few more variables you ain't account for. Mm-hmm. I just get tired of that cop out, bro, because it's not fair. You know what I'm saying? Many of us actually walking around here half and half, or got a whole lot of extra DNA that we don't like to talk about. I ain't saying we know abos or nothing crazy like that. I'm just saying, like, you know, we walk around, oh, I'm black. Yeah, okay. But what I'm saying is, you know, you got somebody in your family, you know what I'm saying? Somebody was messing around with somebody, and you got some of that mixed up in there. So you can't call the black and white card like that, because life ain't black and white. I just get tired of like arguing with family, friends, whoever that just want to come and give excuses about why we need to be in social environments, for one, and two, on the other end, like trying to demonize it like it's all white people that only have access to needles and petri dishes and microscopes at this point in the game. It's not fair, bro. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Good point, man. Good point.
Yeah, that is a good point. All day long. Anybody else got, like, you know what I'm saying, questions or anything, or want to revisit anything while we live before we end? I'm looking at, well, I ain't looking in the chat just yet. I was looking for something in particular, see if I wanted to share anything else.
One of the questions I have been asking was, like, is there a group of people out there that actually want the vaccine to fail? Because I be seeing a lot of people, you know, the cracking joke is cool, but sometimes I get the idea that there are people that actually want it to fail. And I guess that would justify or make them comfortable with the fact that they decided not to take it. Otherwise, they may feel left out. I don't want to think for them, but they kind of concern me. I was like, man, it seems like so many people don't want it to work, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, tomorrow I may go live and stream a Q&A that Vince Rancinello was doing regarding answering, you know, COVID-19 questions. It'll be about 8 p.m. But I work tomorrow, so I may just do it when I'm thinking about it. I may do it Friday. You know, Signs with Shawn. We do it on Friday. This was gonna be the latest, but I do want to get into a more recent one here, but I don't. Let me see how long we've been on. I think we've been on, almost 2 hours. So what I'm probably gonna do is I'm gonna end this here, and then I'm gonna double back. Probably. Nah, I'm gonna just save it. I'm gonna leave it like that, because there's another Q&A that they did regarding the COVID-19, but it's an hour and a half, and I don't want to waste nobody's evening messing with me and COVID-19. So I'll probably do a little, you know, do that one on Friday and deal with that and kind of go from there. But I don't see any more questions in the chat. Have you done a video on the second mutated strand that I keep hearing about? It's not a second strand, Nunu. We did it last night. They're talking about a new variant. They have the strand. They have, you know, they already got the strands. That there's no new strand. It's just a variant. That was last night's. Like 9% whales. I'm probably making money off the misinformation. Yep. They are making money off the misinformation. True said we need more memes. Man, I don't even know how to make the mugs, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I guess that's the only way you fight pseudo-isms is to make memes and you know, shorten up the information. I don't know. Even if you shorten it up, bro, they'll be anti whatever it is. And to the right people say things to them to make them be like, oh, okay, they saying this. You know what I'm saying? They don't trust me. They don't trust no black doctors. They don't trust nothing. You know what I'm saying? The only thing they trust is being the last people to find out. They didn't trust, listen, they didn't trust certain evolutionary things that transpired that other people capitalized on. They didn't trust in protecting the home that they had in the neighborhood. Now it's gentrified and selling for millions of dollars. They didn't trust none of that. They ain't believe none of that. They rather, you know, they believed in all the wrong things. They didn't believe in evidence-based anything. They just believed in fictitious stuff outside of self. But they never, you know, they never got with the program to understand how to wholeheartedly advance with the times or grow with the times and be able to capitalize on some of these things that's going on. So we always late to the party. And then we want to question why we're, you know, as behind as we are, instead of making the progress that we can make to make gains. Similar to the curve of a network and marketing scheme that actually blows it out of the water, blow up and grows real big. After it gets real big, then here we come on the tail end or when it's peaking. And then we wonder why it's so slow for us. It's just like stocks. You know what I mean? Since we don't pay enough attention to learning the stock market, we have the same behavior in that. We have this behavior with economics wholeheartedly. We have this behavior with education wholeheartedly. We had this issue with science. And that's what we're dealing with right now. And it's exposing us. It's exposing our ignorance right now. We're the last to know. We never want to be in the thick of things. We never want to be the first to find out. We're the last to find out or know. And that's a hindrance. Yeah, salute to 365 Insight. But yeah, man, on that note, let me see. Okay, man. Okay. Yeah, you got to go back. You probably fell asleep on that one. Yep. So on that note, man, I'm gonna Shimon Hotep. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Like the show, share the show, tell a friend, tell a friend. We over our 2-hour mark. What time is it? 6:49. I might come back and roll with that Q&A in about 30 minutes or so or something like that. Depends. But we appreciate everybody stepping in and spreading some love and some knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, the books is in. The books are in. Yep. They in. They're here. Oh, by the way, to Truth Minister's point, Donald Trump did announce on Tuesday a wave of lame duck pardons, including two men who pleaded guilty in Robert Mueller's investigation, as well as ones for Republican allies who once served in Congress and military contractors involved in the deadly shootout in Iraq civilians. The pardons of former campaign aide George Papadopoulos, former U.S. Congressman Duncan Hunter, and Chris Collins, and the 4 Blackwater guards involved in the Iraq massacre kicked off what is expected to be a flurry of pardons and commutations in the coming weeks as Trump concludes his term. Also included in the batch announced on Tuesday is Alex van der Zwaan, the Dutch lawyer who was sentenced to 30 days in jail after pleading guilty to lying to Mueller investigators. 2 Border Patrol agents convicted in 2006 of shooting and wounding an unarmed, undocumented immigrant and then covering it up. And several people convicted of nonviolent drug crimes serving lengthy sentences. The pardons came at the recommendation of Trump allies in Congress and in some cases the conservative media. Many of nonviolent drug offenders were recommended for clemency by Alice Johnson, the former federal inmate whose sentence Trump commuted at the urging of Kim Kardashian West. Yeah, you can find that out right now. So that's the breaking news that's going on right now. Trump is on a pardon spree. Make sure you you at Trump and get your family member, friend, or whoever pardon, since he on a pardon spree. All right, on that note, Shimon Hotel, Black African Power. I'll see y'all in less than 30 minutes. We'll be back in about 30 minutes, and I'm going to go through one of these Q&As, and we'll get to it. Peace.